Hi everyone and welcome today, where I'm going to discuss loads of hints and visual confirmations of the Geth returning in the next Mass Effect game, as well as this strange Geth character here. So let's get right into it. So starting off with the most recent N7 Day 2023. During this event we got a brand new 35-second teaser trailer with some hints via binary code encryptions and some brand new artwork of this character right here. If we zoom into this artwork, we can see a nightclub environment housing loads of Milky Way species seen in the original trilogy of Mass Effect games, also possibly featuring a Turian that looks like Garrus, a Ralloy, which is a species that we've never actually seen featured in the games but we've had featured in the lore, and maybe even an Angara from Mass Effect Andromeda, putting into sort of the timeline of this actual shot here very much into question. But today I wanted to show this Geth character right here. This Geth appears to not only be in a nightclub environment, which is very strange for a Geth, but as well as dressed in some kind of tunic or robes. These to me at least look rather religious. To me at least this kind of looks like something of a cleric or a priest, something like that, and it's something that they would potentially wear. And again, this is really confusing why a Geth is wearing clothing. But the question you've probably got that you're asking yourselves watching this is, why is this Geth even wearing clothing in the first place? Well, in the past games, the closest we've ever seen to this in the Mass Effect universe is Legion wearing Shepard's armour from Mass Effect 1, as well as different types of Geth units wearing different armour sets depending on sort of what class they are. But another question we've got is, how does this relate to religion? Well, in terms of sort of how this could, in Mass Effect 1 on the planet Feros in the Exogeny building, there is a part of the level where two Geths kneel before some kind of structure that emits light. It's directly stated that the Geth on Feros and the rest that follow Saren worship the Reapers, and that effectively, you know, this sort of storyline is carried on in Mass Effect 1 and 2 with certain Geth sort of rebelling and certain Geth worshipping the Reapers. This then leads to the rest of the Geth deeming the Reaper worshippers as heretics by the end of Mass Effect 3, depending on your choices. Tali also explains in Mass Effect 1 that the Geth blur the line between organic and synthetic existence, so it's not surprising for them to have some kind of religion and faith. Coming back to the next Mass Effect game though, first off, why is a Geth in a nightclub? During the events of Mass Effect 1 all the way through to the Reaper Wars sort of pre-Rannoch, most races not already indoctrinated by the Reapers are actually still prejudiced and scared of the Geth due to the attack on the Citadel from Mass Effect 1. So how can a Geth be so casually integrated in a social scene, when most of the galaxy hates them, is scared of them, or I imagine just would not want them there, especially in a nightclub? Well, we do now. We have loads of evidence that this next game could take place in either Mass Effect Andromeda's galaxy, or Andromeda, or the Milky Way galaxy in the far future. There's loads of evidence to suggest that this game could take place either right after Mass Effect 3's ending or way in the future, as we see things like the date 2819 from N7 Day 2023 with the, I believe it's the Oculon sort of encryption that we got, which actually takes place during Andromeda's timeline. This actually puts us exactly 634 years after Mass Effect 2, which is obviously when Mass Effect Andromeda takes place, as well as evidence for a few years after Mass Effect ending, and Mass Effect 3's ending rather. And if you look at all of this evidence, it's really confusing. There isn't really a clear sort of definition one way or the other. I personally don't think this game's going to take place years after Mass Effect 3's ending now, whereas I formerly did before this N7 Day, whereas now I do think it's either going to take place in one of the galaxies or both in the far future. But if this game is set in the far future, then maybe society have become more understanding of the Geth and have accepted them into society as a whole, meaning that this Geth is okay to boogie out on the dance floor in the nightclub. And also, if we widen this actual artwork again, there's possibly an Angara, which would indicate that this takes place either in the Andromeda Galaxy or in the Milky Way in the far future, and somehow the Angara have travelled to the Milky Way system, which I find very unlikely. Also, doesn't this Asari right here resemble Liara, kind of? So maybe this Geth is some sort of bodyguard or companion to Liara to protect her whilst doing her business in this nightclub. It doesn't go out of character for Liara as the Shadow Broker to sort of conduct business in the nightclub, which very much reminds me of perhaps something that she'd do in Mass Effect 3, Mass Effect 2. And I guess that's very on brand for the Geth, as the Geth in this shot looks very static and emotionless, so maybe it's a bodyguard, maybe it's just with Liara, or maybe this isn't Liara at all, and this Geth is just here in this artwork just for the sake of it. I honestly don't know. If we look at past N7 days as well, we also see a Geth-shaped crater with dead Geth scattered everywhere, all the way back from 2021 in this poster, as well as Geth voice lines appearing in the background of the secret transmission, seemingly interacting with Liara all the way back from 2022's N7 day. Also, the voice actor behind the Geth and Legion, being DC Douglas, said in a few different tweets earlier throughout the year, which I've covered in various videos, that he may actually be involved with the next game. And even as recently as N7 Day 2023, where the cast of the original trilogy did a cast reunion stream, with the exact quote being here. The poster they put out for Mass Effect 5 shows what looks like to be a crater and the outline of Legion, and there looks like a dead Geth in that crater. So all I know is that I'm the voice of all the Geth, so... Now, as of right now, in writing formally, there is only one voice actor that has actually confirmed their involvement with the next Mass Effect game, and that is obviously Ali Hillis, who plays Liara, because obviously Liara's in this game, and we've also heard her voice. It's kind of hard to deny that, and, you know, pull an Andrew Garfield and say, no, it's definitely not happening when we know it's happening. So personally, I do definitely think DC Douglas is involved with the next game, and will be voicing all Geth characters, and personally, I'm really hoping that he gets to voice a Geth squad mate, because we haven't had one since Legion, and I would love to have another. But that's all the evidence we have so far. I'll be doing a breakdown of the actual timeline and when I think this next game is actually set soon, because it's completely muddled and all over the place, especially with this artwork throwing in things like Angara, the Hanar, perhaps a Ralloy and other Milky Way species, as well as Andromeda references, so it's all over the place at the minute, so do be on the lookout for that. But tell me in the comments below, who do you think this Geth character is, why are they here, and why are they dressed in some kind of tunic or robe? Tell me in the comments below. And for more Mass Effect content specifically regarding the next Mass Effect game, don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.